Hey, it's Freki here, and today I'm going to be doing a brief tutorial on the ItrackBites health app. Alright, so first of all, I just want to say earlier today, I recorded a whole 25-minute tutorial on this. I decided to take a nap, I visited my parents, came back and went to edit it, and yeah, there was no sound. My microphone off. So, I'm back. And yeah, so that's that. And the second thing I want to get into, because it's going to pop up when I actually get into opening the app, like you'll end up seeing my name. My name is Robert. It's not a secret. I'm not hiding who I am. That came about because before this channel, I was starting a gamer channel. And on a lot of gamer channels, you use a gamer tag. So like on PS4, I'm Freki Bad Wolf 1. And so when I started this, I stuck with that type of concept. And then it's just kind of a nickname for, the interwebs. And with the name, I just kind of want to explain that. So first of all, Freki, it's one of Odin's wolves. It's not freaky. It's not anything weird or whatever. It's just Freki. He's a wolf. And then Bad Wolf, and it's the same thing like it's tattooed on my wrist. It's from Doctor Who. And that whole concept I loved. If you know Doctor Who, if you've seen that whole story arc, when Rose Tyler became the Bad Wolf, she basically created her own future. She had changed the past and put Freki Bad Wolf throughout the entire... Put Bad Wolf through the entire series, leading them to that point so that she could do what she needed to do to save the day. And I love that concept of you being in charge of your own future and your own destiny. And so, I strongly feel that, if you want something out of life, it's up to you to get it. It's not up to anybody else. It's on you. And any success you have is because of you. And so that's why it's on my wrist. It's a good reminder to myself. And, especially with, weight loss. If I want to get healthy and fit, it's up to me. No one else is going to do it. So I'm doing it. All right. That aside now. Into here, you open up the app and... Actually, let's get out of here. And we're going to switch to tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to switch to Sunday of next week just so that all the numbers are balanced out. And the very first thing that I am going to talk about are the points. And me personally, I am on the carb conscious plan. And actually, two things. One, I'm on that plan. Two, I'm not an expert. I'm not a head coach. I have been doing this for months, and I did the Weight Watchers version for years, but I'm not an expert on this. It's just I have had a lot of friends and people that have messaged me and asking me about ItrackBites, and several of them end up joining and using it, and they end up asking me a few questions, which I totally don't mind. I like helping people, so that's totally fine. But keep in mind, I'm not an expert. But there are a Facebook group. It's called ItrackBites Participants. I'll put a link in the comments below, and or in the description below. And that's super, super helpful. My one friend, she's not on Facebook, so she was asking me. And then actually last night, she asked me, and then I asked the group. And boom, got an answer and gave it to her. So there is a really good support system out there for the program. But just because some of the questions that some of my friends have had, I've seen in that group a lot, and the head coaches on the group are really great at getting to it and answering, and they have a whole bunch of stuff that's saved in the logs for you to look at. But I figure, why not just make a video and just give a brief tutorial? Nothing major, nothing super in-depth. I might make more in-depth ones later. We'll see. So first of all, at the top, there is, in the middle, it's the daily remaining it shows. I'm a big guy, and I'm tall, and I'm a male. So I get a lot of points. So I get 71 points that I can use in one day. And that's basic. That's a basic part of this. You will need 71. You need to meet your goal. You get as close to it as you can. And then off to the right of it is the weekly points. With this program, you get 49 weekly points. So you can use that however you want. I know some people split it up, use it evenly every day of the week. What I personally do is on my weigh-in day, I've explained this before, I'm sure, but I use my daily and my weekly bites all in one day. So two things comes to that. One, it feels like a cheat day because that's a whole lot of points. That's a whole lot of food. So I can have the pizza if I want. I can have, the more cheaty feeling foods and not feel guilty because it's using my points. And two, since I do that on Sunday and my next weigh-in is the following Sunday, I feel like I have, time to burn off any extra from that. Because I feel like if I personally, I don't know, I've never tried, I'm not willing to give it a go. If I were to use my daily and my weekly on Saturday and then weigh in on Sunday, I feel like that stuff's in my system still. It's not going to be out because it's too much. So I do it that way. And on the far left is the activity remaining. So you can actually track activity and earn bites. So like say I'm going to click on the activity tab down here and let's just say walking. Say you went for a little walkie-do and whoops, if I can spell walk, that'd be nice. So there we go. Let's see, you're going 3.5 miles per hour. So if you went for 60 minutes, you would get 10 bites. And then you can add that onto your daily total. And instead of like with me, instead of 71, I would get 81. So you can do that if you want to. Me personally, I choose not to. Any activity points I do or bites, I typically don't even track. But even if I do, I don't want to use them. I like keeping them separate. If it's extra calories burned, it's extra calories burned. But it is very useful if you have used almost all of your bites and it's 6 o'clock. You don't want to just eat fruit the rest of the night or vegetables the rest of the night. I could, but you might not want to. So instead, go for an hour walk, and then boom, at 7, you have 10 more points. And there you go. So very helpful. So that's the basics that you need to know as far as the top. And so the other thing that I want to cover, because I think it's pretty obvious. Maybe I'll just go ahead and say it real quick. Like, obviously, breakfast. You hit the little plus sign next to breakfast. You type in your food, like, say you're having turkey bacon. You can do that, You can type in and search for food. Let's just keep with the turkey bacon for the fun of it. And it'll pop up. It'll show all of your recents that have turkey in it. And then there's the pocket guide and the USDA guide. And then online. Online is typically manually entered by other people. I don't use it too often because there could be some discrepancies in there. As somebody actually from the Facebook group had pointed out, and actually I'm going to put a link to her YouTube below because she has really good tutorials on there. It's from Dumpy to Diva. But she pointed out, that's obviously a discrepancy because, like, say my friend, the question that I would ask the group, she just started it and she's going to be she buys, a rotisserie chicken. She's going to be cutting the breast off and eating that as part of her meal. And on there, like on mine, it was tracking, I forgot what it was, something obscene, like 15, 25 points, something like that. When in reality, it's like 3 or 5 or something. I don't know the exact measurements it was. But that was the online, so somewhere somebody had messed up a little bit. So instead, you want to use, ideally, Pocket Guide, and then USDA is, semi-acceptable. And if it's got the green check marks, that means it is approved by the app, I believe. Again, not an expert, so don't quote me on that one. Typically, the stuff that I'm not sure, I will point out, like, not an expert, I don't know, but pretty confident that's what that means. So anyway, so then you just click on it, you would just track it, and boom. And then as an example, like let's go to today. I made a sandwich with bread, eggs, and turkey bacon, and that was my breakfast. And it's cool because it totals it at the top, and then has each thing individually down at the sides, and and then it'll show your lunch, and then if you have snacks, it'll show all of that. So that's really, really helpful. All right, so the next thing, with Carb Conscious, it is duplicating a version of the Weight Watchers Points Plus program. So what you need to know is that there are a lot of 0-point foods, which I'm going to go to this website here. Like, this is just help.itrackbites.com. And on here, it'll give you the breakdown. And one, you can look at all the plans in a little more in depth than what the app shows. But still, the main thing that I like to refer to is down here. This is all of the 0-point foods that you can have. And like some of them, like say the creamers and the cream cheese and all that, it obviously, that's these guys over here, it shows the measurements. And so that's to keep in mind, it's 0 points if it's this amount. If you're, lopping on like 5 tablespoons of the mayonnaise, obviously it's going to start counting. Except for fruits and vegetables. Like these guys over here that if it does not have a measurement, then it is 0 points, even if you have 200 of them. Not that I recommend doing that of any one of these foods, but still. And so with that, one thing to keep in mind is it has a built-in scanner. I don't have anything in front of me to be able to scan, but let's just say like beets here. Whoops, just scooting stuff around. I'm on the wrong screen. Beets here. We know they're 0-point foods. So like if I were to scan it, like say if you, I don't know if they ever come frozen, but say a can of beets, a lot of times with the scanner, it is scanning nutritional information. And so it's not going to always register, oh, this is a 0-point food. So instead, like what I would recommend doing is just searching for the food and typing in beets. If I can type, I cannot type, guys. Like I said, this is the second time recording this whole video. But so like say, like let's go down to USDA. So let's say beets raw. It's showing 1.4 points. And so say you scanned it and it's showing something like that. Then you can just click on this little thing down here and it makes it 0. So if you scan it, do that. If not, just search for the actual item you're going for and track it that way. One thing with that, though, is like say if it is canned or bag frozen, definitely check if it's preserved with anything or if it's in any kind of juice or anything like that, because then it's not, unless you put it in a colander and rinse it all off and have just the raw food. But definitely keep that in mind when you are just tracking something as 0 when it comes from a can or frozen. Because like I know, like say a lot of times with like for smoothie stuff, if I get frozen strawberries or cherries, sometimes they're packed in juice and frozen that way kind of helps preserve them or whatever, but wouldn't be 0. So that is that aspect. And the one other thing that I wanted to show real quick before just calling it quits on this first introductory tutorial is if you go onto the little green button at the bottom, the plus, it becomes an X, and go to food, if you click over here at the far right, it's brands. And there you can see all kinds of restaurants. You can search for restaurants and all of that, and brands of snacks and beers and stuff like that too. But it's really cool because you can look for a specific restaurant you're going to, which is helpful. Because if you're going out with friends, I like to look up the place first and kind of plan out what I want to have without having to be sitting there at the table, pulling out my phone, looking it up. I like to look it up in advance. And most major chains will have their stuff listed on here. I mean, as you can see. And your local mom and pop shops won't, but you can kind of search for something similar. But for the major chains, boom. And I'm going to go ahead for an example, because something else I want to show is Panera Bread, because it comes from my hometown, St. Louis, although we called it St. Louis Bread Co. originally. And then, some money exchanged hands, and now they're nationwide and Panera. So one thing that's really cool with this, because like you could go there and you could be like, oh, well, they don't have a lot of high points. But say, you're wanting some kind of breakfast sandwich or whatever, and you just want to get rid of all of the higher point food. Say this is breakfast, you only want to use 10 points. The little line triangle up here in the corner, you click on that, and it's the top right corner, and then you can slide this and make it be whatever points you want. So say you want it 10 points, or 10 bites. Hit save, boom. It will not show anything that costs more than 10 bites. I think that's super helpful. And then there's even categories under here so that you can jump to breakfast sandwiches, and boom, there's all of the 10 points or less breakfast sandwiches. The avocado egg white one, super good, by the way. Definitely recommend it. And so that. And one more thing. Anyway, at the bottom right, you can see where there's a little 2 heads and there's a 3 there. If you click on that, this is your social tab. And if you don't have access to Facebook to join the group there, like my one friend doesn't, you can go on here and you can join different groups and things like that. You can find users like yourself. You can see what your posts are. And then if you favorited anything. And there's categories for you to post, like if you have an app question. So you type in your question, and then it'll have you, do app question, and boom. And then it'll post in there, and then people will answer with you. Or if you're just like, a lot of times, I'm just like, hey, look, I lost 10 pounds. And so then there will be people that can comment and, like and all that jazz. So it's pretty fun. My only complaint would be like 3. Like that 3 there, those are all new posts. I don't know if there's a way to turn those off because I hate seeing notifications, but most of those are new posts. I only want a notification if somebody commented on my post or if somebody replied to a comment that I made on their post. I don't want to know all of the new posts, but it is kind of helpful if you have a question, other people are getting those notifications and they might be willing to answer. Just sometimes, like if I haven't gone on a couple days and there's all of a sudden 21 notifications, it's kind of overwhelming. But yeah, so I believe that is actually all that I needed to explain in this video, because there's some other stuff that I want to get into, like the recipe builder and, health checks and other things like that. But just a basic tutorial for using the app, I figured that was a good start. Yeah, and if you have questions about it, feel free to, if you're using it, feel free to comment and ask me. If I don't know, I can easily get the answer. Like I said, I like helping people. I always talk about that teamwork is what makes this dream work, to be cliche, sorry. But it's true. Teamwork, support, people helping other people is what is going to help us all reach our goals. And so ask me if you don't have access to Facebook or the groups or anything like that. If I don't know, or if I'm even questioning, I don't like to give advice unless I'm 100% certain. If I don't know, then I will go to the groups myself and ask. And you can ask the social tab at the bottom too. So you have plenty of support in this app to get the help you need to figure it out. And obviously it works. And there are a lot of plans in there that I'm not a part of. Like I'm doing the carb conscious. There are this many plans. So I only know carb conscious. That's the one that I lost the 140 pounds before on. That's the one I'm doing now. So I don't know the other ones, but they have stuff designed to each individual person. And that website that I was talking about, the help.itrackbites.com, they have a bunch of information at the top that says, like who does this plan work best for and how does the plan work and all of this stuff. It explains the pocket guide listings and all of that jazz. So you can look and see what plan would work best for you and figure that out for yourself and then go from there. Like my friend that I was just talking about that had the question, she's on Sugar Smart. The app recommended Sugar Smart to her, so she decided to do it. It also recommended that to me, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do the plan that I knew worked for my personal body, so that's why I'm doing the one I'm doing. But tons of support out there for this app. I highly recommend it. I'm not a paid sponsor by any means. It's just I've had a lot of people say, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Even while I was at my stepmom's, she goes to Weight Watchers and she's kind of struggling a bit. And she's like, well, like what is it that you're doing? And, told her, and especially when she heard the price, like she's like, oh wow, because there is a pro version and a free version. I'm on the pro version, but it's one fee yearly and it's not expensive. So kudos. Because with that, like, honestly, if Weight Watchers had done something like this, I probably would be giving them money. If they had a thing that listed all of their plans and they could have just done a pick your plan, what's your favorite, let's do it. Instead, they kind of just brush the old plans aside and just pretend they don't know anything about them. And unfortunately, the new plan doesn't work for my personal body. It might for yours, not dogging anybody that's doing it, but for me personally, it doesn't work. I tried it for 3 months and either stayed or went up a little bit while doing it. So I figured 3 months was a good try. I gave it the good old college try, even though I never went to college. I went to beauty school. But anyway, so if they had done that, boom. But either way, now this app exists, and it is super helpful. And I'm seeing a lot of people not succeeding on the current plan and going to this. Or like I said, I think in a video a long time ago, I have some customers that are on it and they kind of bend the rules a little bit. Like, yeah, chicken breast is 0 points, but if I have over, this amount, then I start tracking. I'm not paying somebody like $25 a month or $30 or whatever it is for me to make up my own dang rules. Not going to do it. So instead, I'll use this one. And I love it. I recommend it. But again, there's different plans for everybody. On this, other methods, I know plenty of people that are doing plenty of different things to lose the weight that they want to lose. And it's whatever works best for you. Me, I can't tell myself no. If I say no to something, then I am going to crave it nonstop. It could be something I don't even like, but if I know I can't have it, all I'm going to think about. So with this, you can have anything. You just track, control your portions, and go from there. So it works for me. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm kind of just going to wrap this sucker up. As I always say, if you are on a journey, please let me know. I would love to support you, especially if you have a YouTube channel. Love to support that. I'm loving finding the different people that are out there similar to my channels. So I would love to support you, and I appreciate the support. So if you haven't already, please hit like, comment, subscribe. I like those things. They make me happy. I like seeing my channel grow. Like earlier today, I got up to 52 when I was like at 40, like 39 a few days ago. So I'm liking that. That's really cool. It helps keep me motivated with that. Like it's not just, oh, I want to grow my channel, I want to make money. But it is really about keeping me accountable, and having subscribers is helping keep me on track, helping me to lose the 17 that I've lost so far. 140 more to go, but still. It helps keep me encouraged. Just like when my last video, I had the most comments I've ever had on a video. That made me feel really good and made me feel like, okay, I can do this. So I appreciate it. So again, if you haven't, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I will see you on Sunday when I do my next weigh-in.